Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while now, a couple of months after my last video, I think. So anyways, I have been wanting to make this video about, as you can see, the background, my home. The last video I had told you guys that I had we finally bought off a house. We haven't paid it off, of course, that didn't sound right, but anyways, we got our loan to get our house, and we are here, as you can see. We're all settled pretty much. We have a lot going on with the house right now. We have a lot of little stuff that we're changing and working on, like, for example, the kitchen cabinets are in the middle of a transformation. We just can't get them done just because, you know, Fidel works out of town, etc., etc. But anyways, you guys, a couple of weeks ago, I asked for a couple of questions. And based off of, what you guys wanted to know when it comes to purchasing a house, I did screenshot the questions and I was gonna like read them, and I just realized that I'm filming on my phone. So, I should have probably done that. But anyways, I'm gonna try not to edit this video too much. I don't even think I'm gonna try not to edit anything, so I'm gonna try to speak about it as good as possible, without going in circles too much. So to get started, first of all, I know a lot of your main concern was like the steps, like what kind of steps did we take. This is our first home. We don't think this will be our forever home, but of course it is a start. It is our first home. So we're very happy and very thankful. We feel truly blessed to have the opportunity to buy a house in the first place, because it is a very hard process, and maybe it's not as hard for other people, but it definitely has been hard for us. So anyway, just the fact that we have a home, we are super thankful and blessed. And it's crazy because we went in with a mindset when we were first looking into buying a home. We had our mindset to something completely different than what we ended up with. It's crazy. So, as you know, me and Fidel have been together for nearly 9 years now. So we've been together and we've tried to buy a house here and there. We've always tried, attempted, through the years. One reason or another, everybody always had excuses for us, like not enough credit, not enough job history. Fidel used to go from one workplace to another just because he travels, and then he didn't want to travel, and then he would travel, and so that caused a lot of chaos when it came to trying to apply for a home or a loan for a home. So that's where it got complicated, especially because I didn't have a job for most of the time being. Just because I was a stay-at-home mom, I didn't have anything on record of me working, so it wasn't enough history for me. And then Fidel's was just all over the place. It was just not something they accepted or whatever, or they always had an excuse about it. So the point is that it was hard due to that. We finally got into a mindset of us just sticking to our jobs, and that's why for the past 2 years he has been very strict on himself about going back and forth. So he has been staying. He did make some job changes in between the 2 years, but not as many as he had previously been making. So I worked almost 2 years at a place. You guys probably know about that. So I worked for almost 2 years. I didn't make it to the 2 years just because of whatever else happened, and I quit that job, whatever. So the point is that I changed. So anyways, I couldn't go on the loan still. So this was basically Fidel had to sign off on this. Okay, that's where we're gonna start. So that leaves just Fidel. Okay, so I took care of everything. I'm the one that like did everything from, of course, Fidel was you know, looking at the homes with me and all of that, and going to the meetings with me, with the realtor and everything, and he was participating. But when it came to like informing myself and all of that, and knowing exactly what we needed to do and all of that, I took care of all the paperwork. I figured out how to get all his taxes and all the stuff they were asking me for. All that information, I was figuring it out. I take care of most of the stuff like that in the house. I take care of all the paperwork and everything that needs to get done and all of that, all the payments and everything. I take care of that. So I took care of it. So I'm very well aware of what we needed and what the process consisted of. So anyways, so the thing is, everybody always had an excuse for us, right? And I finally decided to try another realtor. Thankfully, I heard about him through a friend. Shout out to you for letting me know about him. I think I just saw a fly. I'm sorry, guys. We sometimes leave the doors open and flies come in. So anyways, so I reached out to this realtor. His name is David Cavero, and I want to shout him out. If you guys are in the area, if y'all are local, then I totally recommend him. Okay, he is hilarious. He's a character, and he is very, very movido. Like, él sí le echa ganas, I gotta say. Like, I gotta give him props. Like, he has no excuses. There's no excuses for him. He will find a way and a solution to anything that you try to put in front of your purchase. Like, if you try to say, no, it's because, no. Like, he will set your mind straight into getting it done and pushing you to accomplish the purchase of your home. So anyways, he's awesome. And if you do go to him, let him know that I sent you, because I promised that I would send him some clients, and I just want to make that up, you know. He was very nice and kind to us, and he did the best he could. And I know I probably irritated him sometimes because I was like all up on it, and I was like calling him like all the time and like pushing him and like, you know. So yeah, he deserves to get some clients for me. So back to the point. So I used him. I reached out. First things first, I'm going to tell you guys, because a lot of you want to know if the process was long. Yes, it was pretty long. We started working with him about a year ago. And I want to say, yeah, it was about a year ago. Almost. A little bit less than a year. Not quite a year, but a little bit. Pretty close to a year. So it is a long process. However, this is just my experience. Everybody else has a different experience. I can tell you that it just depends, because some people's experience is completely different than mine. So this is just based on my experience and what I know. I'm not an expert on this. I am, however, taking classes on this, but you know, that's beside the point. That's irrelevant. So anyway, the point is that it's different for everybody. It all just depends on you and what you it's based on a lot of things: your job history, your income, your savings, your credit score, all of that. So it's all going to depend. Now, I do know that they're able to work with you as long as you have a pretty decent credit score. I'm not exactly sure what the score is. I kind of forgot. But let me tell you guys. So this is my experience, and this is what we went through. So like I said, we tried a lot of different realtors. They would always give us the same thing about how Fidel had switched between jobs, and I didn't have enough history, etc., etc. They would always push us out the door and be like, just come back when you're ready. And I'll be like, okay. You know, and then a couple months I would go back, and same thing, like they would push us out the door, like, oh, come back when you're ready. Like, and they kept doing that. So it kind of started getting old, and I'm like, we've been trying for years. Like, it's ridiculous. Somebody needs to tell us exactly what we need and like get us a house, because I'm sick and tired of like being pushed out the door. So I finally reached out to David, and like I said, he was awesome. Así da movido. Like, one day he took my information, Fidel's, boom, he told us exactly what went down. He's like, well, you don't really have the history. I wasn't currently working when I started talking to David, so he couldn't put me in the thing anyway. So he's like, we're gonna just work with your husband because he's the one that's working right now, so we're gonna just have to work off of him. Of course, that immediately means that the loan amount that they give us is a lot lower than what it would be with two people, of course. So we knew that. We were still with our hopes up, and we were hoping to be able to get enough to where we could buy a new home, because we really were aiming for a new built home. We didn't want a fixer-upper. So there you go, guys. That's where the mentality was at first. Okay, we wanted a brand new built home. That's all that we had our mindset to. They were building houses up in Chatsworth where we were living at the time, and we had passed by them. We looked into them. We loved them. We were so into them and everything. However, let me tell you, we even drove all the way to Calhoun to look at them because they were going to be the exact same, like the ones that were getting built in Chatsworth. So anyways, we fell in love. We had chosen it, everything. The loan went through like so quick with a great bank. So we were kind of like, whoa, like surprised, because we did have a car loan still. We do still have that car loan, and it's on Fidel's name as well. So we didn't understand how they were giving him that much, the large amount that they had given him or got him approved for. So we were kind of confused, but we were just going for it. And then it turns out they realized that we had that car loan. I don't know why they didn't realize that before we had mentioned it, but the point is that they didn't know. So they called us in. They're like, oh, sorry, you're not approved for that much. Like, the only way is if you could get your payments lower, yada, yada, yada. Through this process, I ended up getting my payments lower on my car and everything, like they had asked me to. But it turns out that at the end of the day, when we went to see the homes in Chatsworth, Fidel did not like them because the yard was kind of small. He was looking for something more spacious. When it came to the yard, he wanted something bigger. So that was his mindset. So I didn't really get to talk him into buying one of those. And then also we were going to need a larger down payment. So this is where it is very important for you guys to have a large down payment if you want to be able to purchase the dream house that you may have in mind. However, it is not impossible to get a home with a smaller down payment. So now this is where our experience may be different from others, okay? So me and Fidel had saved up money, okay? We had money saved and everything, and this happens to us throughout the years because we're these type of people, and I don't know why we're like this, but we tend to just blow things off if we like feel like it's not gonna happen, right? So like every time people would push us out the door, like, no, you can't purchase a house right now, we would be like, okay, whatever, let's go spend the money. So we're just that type of people. Like, we literally blew $10,000 out the window on our trip. So we've done that a couple times. So the point is that when we were dealing with David, we kind of got discouraged a little bit with the whole confusion with the loan amount. So we were kind of discouraged, and then we didn't even end up liking those houses at the end. Fidel didn't like them, so we kind of just were like, oh, whatever, let's just put this off and wait till next year, because they were saying that the interest rates were going to go down, the economy was going to go down, houses would be cheaper, blah blah blah. We were hearing a lot of things, so we just started thinking that let's just wait. So we took a vacation in the middle of this, okay, which is a horrible idea. Don't do that. But we did it. We thought we were gonna just lay it off until the next year and just whatever, But in the back of my mind, I was praying for this, and I was praying to God for a nice house to come our way, because we were looking on Zillow every single day. We were traveling to Calhoun, to Chatsworth, to the Gap Road, to ranchitos around the area of Vernell, everywhere, looking at houses, and no house was grabbing our attention. So we were just like giving up on it. We're like, oh, we don't want these houses, and he would be like, what about this one? What about that one? David would be like showing us all kinds of houses. We're like, no, like that's not what we want. So we ended up going on this trip, blowing some money up, and we just gave up on it for a minute. A couple months later, we start, having those thoughts, and we're like, oh, we kind of want to purchase a house now. So we came by, we were visiting someone down the street, and we came across this home where we're at now. And, it's really funny, and it's mind-blowing how it all happened. I don't believe in coincidences. I feel like what's meant to be yours is meant to be yours, and God does things for a reason. So we passed by, and it was kind of really random. I was just looking out the window, and I was like, look at that cute little house. I told you, I was like, oh my gosh, look at that house. That looks so cute because it's pink, and I love pink, as you can tell. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's a pink house. How freaking cute. Like, I like that house. And Vito's like, what the heck? Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish they would be selling it. I would so buy that house. It's so cute. I'm like, look at the yard. It's so big too. And he's like, yeah, the yard is pretty nice and it's flat. Vito always wanted like a flat piece of land. So he was like, yeah, it's actually pretty. And then I'm like, oh my God, what if they're selling? He's like, Celine, this doesn't even have a for sale sign. Like, why would you think they're selling it? I'm like, I don't know. Like, what if they are? Look, it looks empty. There's no cars. The windows like didn't seem to have like curtains or anything on them. So I was like, oh my God, I feel like they're gonna sell it. Let's look. And he's like, you're crazy. He ended up parking the car, and we got off. We looked around the house, and yeah, it was empty, you guys. I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually gonna sell this house. So I got super excited. We asked his family that lives down the street from us now that if they knew anything about the house. They told us that they actually did know the lady that lived here, and that they had actually recently talked to her, and she had mentioned that she was gonna put it up for sale. So I was like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening. But throughout this time, we tried to reach out to the lady, but she didn't live here anymore, of course, so we didn't know how to contact her. We didn't have a phone number or nothing. So we were just waiting around. She wouldn't come around, so we kind of gave up on it. We let it go. And then David found out one of his friends was going to be building some new houses here in the area in Dalton, one by Dalton High School. And oh my gosh, you guys, like that land was perfect. It was huge. I don't remember the square footage, but it was huge, like huge. Okay, and he was going to build a nice big home with huge land, and it was at a great price. It was going to be a great deal. I think it was going to be like 134, something like that. So we were and it was in our budget still, and we were going to buy it. But see, then he started having some issues with the governor. It was the time where they were going to switch governors or whatever, and like things were crazy, I guess, with builders and permits and all of that. And the man said that he wasn't going to be able to build anything on it until they approved it or whatever else. So it was still going to be some months, and we were just kind of desperate, okay, to get a home because we wanted to just get out of the apartment. And so we just kind of got frustrated with that. We waited and waited and nothing. So, and then he showed us another piece of land where he was going to be building stuff. We didn't like it. Houses were too close to it. It was going to have big land, but you were going to have to like drive in, and then the house would be there and with the land, but you would have like people living on the sides, like real close to you. So we didn't like it. So we gave up on that one too. And at this point, I was just like frustrated. I was like giving up on it again. And then some way or another, I always kept thinking of this home. I kept passing by here, and I was like, maybe she'll be there, maybe she'll be there. And luckily, one day I was passing by, I saw the people working on the house, and I was like, hey, do you guys have a number for her? They actually were very sketchy with me, and they didn't give me a number, and I was like, okay, whatever. I left. I was like hoping I would find the lady another time. I sent Fidel to ask him for the number. I was like, maybe they'll give it to you, So, he did that, and they did end up giving him the number. I called and called and called on a daily basis, and there was no answer until finally, you guys, she answered me. And sure enough, I spoke to her and told her we had been pre-approved and we were looking to buy a home. She told us, yeah, she was up for it. She was ready to get it sold, and if we were more than ready to buy, then we were the perfect fit. She hadn't posted it or told anyone it was for sale, so we were first in line, which was like a true blessing. I couldn't believe it. We shed some tears. Me and Fido were like, wow, like it's actually gonna happen. Like this is happening. There's no way like somebody's gonna beat us to it. There's like, because there was a couple houses also where we've had put in an offer, and like there would like the next day people would be like, oh, it's already taken or whatever, like things like that would happen. So anyway, I was like, there's no way somebody's gonna take this house from us, like we're first in line this time. Like what could go wrong, right? But let me tell you, that didn't take away that small little fear in the back of our heads of her like not wanting to sell it anymore, or talking to a friend and wanting to sell it to someone else. That always stayed in the back of my mind, and I was scared of that. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. And we purchased our home, and it was crazy. Now, that was our experience and our how and our the way we got our first home. And I ran through it just so you guys know what happened. So as y'all know, and as the story can tell, we didn't end up getting a new built home. This is sort of like a fixer-upper. Thankfully, she took care of a lot of things while she was fixing it up for us. She changed the carpet in my room. She put new flooring in Kenneth's room. She remodeled the bathroom completely. She painted the whole house, everything, you know. So for the most part, it's in great shape. It's very pretty. I love the color. I'm in love with it. It's spacious enough for us. It's way bigger space than we had in the apartment. So for us, it's soothing and we love it. So and it was very, very emotional moment for us to finally close on the house, and we were so happy. But now the kitchen needs work. We do want to change the flooring throughout the house. We want to put new flooring. We want to put concrete. It does have a small piece of concrete on the driveway. We want to create a whole concrete driveway, like a complete one for 2 cars, you know, not just one. And like, you know, just a lot of little things that I guess would end up making this a fixer-upper home because it's not ready to completely renovated. The kitchen needs work. The flooring I don't like. We need to switch the cabinets. We're painting. Just a lot of little things that we're going to be changing. So I think I did record clips of the house when we were first coming in it for the first time with our keys in hand. So I will be adding those clips in here. Hopefully it doesn't become way too long of a video. I can see I'm already recording way too long, but I really wanted to share with you guys my experience. I know a lot of you guys wanted to know, so that's what happened. I'm super excited. Like I said, this may not be our forever home, but it's definitely a great start, and I'm super happy with it, and I'm excited. So to see how it turns out after we switch all these things out. And you never know, we might end up liking it and, you know, building something, because our yard is pretty spacious, so there's always room to make it bigger, you know, you never know. But for now, it's livable and I'm happy, it's pretty, and I'm content. So now to the main facts. Okay. So the main thing that you're gonna need, a lot of people wanted to know this, like what are the steps? Okay, the first step is to reach out to a realtor. If you don't reach out to a realtor, you won't know what you need or what you're missing, okay? You may even be qualified to buy a home and you don't even know it. So reaching out to a realtor, a professional realtor, would be your first thing to do. So after that, they will tell you exactly what you're missing or what you're needing or what you're, or if you're not needing anything at all, you know, that you might be even qualified. So that's going to be your first step. After that, after you know exactly what you need, all you need to do is to make sure that you have, but also before you reach out to a realtor, make sure you have these things, okay? Make sure you have your tax returns from previous taxes, your last 3 years, I believe is what they asked me for. Make sure you have at least, I want to say at least $3,000 saved, because you will need it. At least, okay? And that's assuming you'll be qualified for no down payment like we were. If not, you will probably and most definitely need more. If you're looking into buying a more expensive home, you will definitely need more. At least 5,000, I would say, or more, okay? It all just depends. Now that's something you may want to figure out with your realtor, but make sure you have at least something when you go to a realtor, because if you have nothing, then it's going to be a little complicated. So you're going to need that. You're going to need your tax returns, like I said, and you're going to need to be prepared to pay up earnest money when you choose a home, okay? So you're going to have that as well. Earnest money, they usually ask you for $500. I was very, very, I'm a very, how would I say it? I like to be informed, okay? So I read a lot during this process. I try to inform myself. I try to be very knowledgeable about what I was doing and what I needed to do. So I read on an article that you don't necessarily have to give $500 for earnest money like everybody says. However, that doesn't mean that they'll atenderte. Like, that doesn't mean that the realtor will have to take your 100, because the lowest you can go is 100. But that doesn't mean that everybody will be willing to still work with you and help you with 100. David was awesome and he worked with us, and I told him, hey, I heard I only had to give you 100. That was the least I could do. Are you willing to still work with me? And he said, yeah, go for it. And so I did that. So thankfully I only had to give 100. That took care of that. My earnest money. And then for the when they had to come check the house, when you choose your house, you have to pay up what you call my mind just went blank, you guys. Oh Lord. Like I'm thinking of something completely different. The point is, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But when they come check the house, like to give the bank that's gonna lend you the money, they want to know what condition the house is in and if it's livable and all of that. You have to pay for that. It's $500. Okay, so you will have to pay $500 up front, like bam, like that. Okay, so once that's taken care of, your bank gets to decide whether or not they're gonna lend you the money. If the house is in good shape and everything, then they'll give you the money. It's not in depth. They don't look at. They just kind of make sure it's livable and it's not in a bad area or whatever. If you want to have the house checked for your sake and for your money's worth, then you're gonna have to hire a separate one to go in depth and everything, and that's about $100 too. I think we didn't do that just because we kind of knew that the house was in good shape. The lady had lived here all her life, so she told us she had maintained it and everything. And then the people that were working on the house for her, we spoke to them and they told us that they had checked it and everything was fine. The sewage, all of that was fine. So like everything was fine. So we took the risk and we didn't hire a person to check it. That's up to you guys, and that depends on the home that you're looking at. If you don't have any history on it, I would definitely get somebody to check it out for you. And then also Fidel looked at it a little bit and it was fine. So we didn't do that, so we saved money there as well. And then when it came to the down payment, this is where you will want to reach out to this realtor for. Okay, so as far as I know, David Cabero, he's the only one so far that is working with this company, and I don't want to give it out because I really want you guys to just go talk to David. I promised I would bring him clients, so I don't want to just give it out. But reach out to David. He'll get you connected with these people. Just tell him that I sent you and that you want to work with the same lender that I did, and he'll get you connected with them. So the thing is, they are the only ones that offer this program to where they provide you down payment assistance. And like I told you, I took a little vacation. Not a good idea, because then when I was ready to buy the home, I had wasted my money. So we needed to have somebody approve us for a down payment assistance, which thankfully he did have. So they were able to provide us with down payment assistance. We did not have to give up a down payment. It was added to our loan. And that money we won't have to pay back if we pay on time for 2 years. So, and I'm sure we're going to do that. So that's going to be taken off. So we're not going to pay a down payment at all. So, which is awesome. It's crazy. So we didn't have to give a down payment. And then the closing cost, the seller actually took care of our closing costs because that was something that we placed on the contract, which I knew we could do also. So we placed that on there, and we asked for a little bit more of the loan for it to be able to cover the closing costs, which the seller and I spoke about it and she agreed, and that's why we were able to do that. And that's why your experience may be completely different, but we were blessed, like I said, and it's crazy how blessed we were through this process. And we ended up paying nothing other than the $100 earnest money and the $600 I can't think of the word, you guys. I am so sorry. The $500 thing to check the house. So if I think of the word, I'll put it on here. But yeah, so that's all we paid. It's mind blowing. It's crazy, but that definitely was awesome. We were able to keep that extra money for other things around the house that we're currently working on. So that's awesome. So yeah, that's definitely all you guys need. That's I think that pretty much covers it. Like I said, reach out to David. He's awesome. He will get you a home. I know 2 of my friends are working with him right now, and both of them are almost closing on their home. So I'm telling you guys, like, he is awesome. So, and he is hilarious. So you just have to have poquita carisma to understand his jokes. But I swear he's super nice. He's so hilarious, and he really does care about you getting your home. And I really do appreciate him. I appreciate what he did for us, and what I there's no words that can describe how thankful I am and how thankful we all are for his work. He did amazing, and I really think he can help you guys out. So reach out to him. So yeah, this pretty much sums up the video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions, leave them down below and I'll be sure to answer. I try to be as brief as I could. As you can see, I already took up a whole 30 minutes worth of time. But definitely leave some questions down below and I'll be glad to answer them. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!